출애굽기 39장. Exodus chapter 39. From the blue, purple, and the scarlet yarn, they made woven garment in the ministering in the sanctuary. They also made a sacred garment for Aaron as the Lord commanded Moses. They made the ephod of gold and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and of finely twisted linen. They hammered out thin suite of gold and cut strands to be worked into the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and fine linen, the work of the scarlet craftsmen. They made shoulder pieces for the ephods, which was attached to two of its corners, so it could be fastened. The skillfully woven waistband was like it, of one piece with its ephods, and made with gold and with the blue, purples, and the scarlet yarn, and with the finely twisted them linen as the Lord commanded Moses. Then they mounted the onyx stones with the gold filigree series and engraved them like seals with the names of the sons of Israel. Then they fastened them in the shoulder pieces of the ephods of memorial stones for the son of Israel as the Lord commanded Moses. They fashioned the breast pieces, the work of the skilled craftsmen. They made it like the ephods of gold and the blue and the purples and the scarlet yarns of the fine linens, twisted linen. It was a scarlet span and the long and the span wide and the folds doubles. Then they mounted the 4 rows of precious stones on it, and the first row was the row turquoise, sapphire of the emeralds. In the third row of the jaundices and the edge and the amethyst. In the fourth rows of crystallite and the onyx and the jasper. They were mounted in the gold filigree setting. There were 12 stones, one for each of the names of sons of Israel, each engraved like a seal with the name of one of the 12 tribes. For the breastpiece, they made the braided chains of pure gold like a rope. They made 2 gold filigree setting and 2 gold rings, and fastened the rings to 2 of the corners of the breastpiece. They fastened the 2 gold chains to the rings at the corners of the breastpiece, and the other ends of the chains to the 2 settings, attaching them to the shoulder piece of the ephods at the front. They made 2 gold rings and attached them to the other 2 corners of the breastpiece on the inside edge next to the ephod. They made 2 more gold rings and attached them to the bottom of the shoulder pieces of the front of the ephod, close to the seam just above the waistband of the ephods. They tied the rings of the breastpiece to the rings of the ephods with the blue cord, connecting it to the waistband so that the breastpiece would not swing out from the ephod as the Lord commanded Moses. They made the rope of the ephods entirely of blue cloth, the work of a weaver, with the opening in the center of the rope like the opening of the collier, and the band around the opening so that it would not tear. They made pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen around them of the robe. And they made bells of pure gold and attached them around the hem between the pomegranates. The bells and the pomegranates alternate around the hem of the robe to be worn for the ministering as the Lord commanded Moses. For Aaron and his sons they made tunics of the fine linens, the work of weavers, and the turbans of fine linens, the linen handbands and the undergarments of the finely twisted linen. The sash was the finely twisted linen and the pure blue, pure purple, and the scarlet yarn, the work of embroiderers as the Lord commanded us. They made the plate, the sacred diadem, out of pure gold and engraved on it, like of the inscriptions on the seals, holy to the Lord. Then they fastened a blue cord to the snake, attached it to the turbans, as the Lord commanded Moses. So all the work of the tabernacles, the tent of meeting, was completed. The Israelites did everything just as the Lord commanded Moses. Then they brought the tabernacle to the Moses, the tent, and all the furnishings each class, frames, the crossbar, and the post, and the best, the covering of ram skin dyed red, and the covering of a hide of the sea cows, and the shieldings, curtains, the ark of the testimony with the whole poles and the atonement cover, the table with all the articles and the bread of presence, the purple gold lamps with each row of lamps, and all the accessory and the swords for the lights, and the gold altars, the anointing oil, the fragrant incense, and the curtains for the entrance to the tent, the bronze altars with its bronze grating, its poles, and all the utensils, the basins with the stand, the curtains of the courtyard with the booths and the bases, the curtains for the entrance to the courtyard, the ropes and the tent pegs for the courtyard, all the furnishings for the tabernacle, the tent of the meeting, and the woven garments worn for ministering in the sanctuary, both the sacred garment for Aaron's the priest and the garments for his sons when serving the priest. The Israelites had done all the work just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moses inspected the work and saw that they had done it just as the Lord had commanded, so Moses blessed them.